Thank you all for being here. My name is Mark Salley. I'm the co-founder of Alara Med, and I appreciate the opportunity to tell our story. In the not too distant past, the world faced a silent killer, COVID-19. Over 700 million cases by April 2024. Healthcare workers were thrust into the front lines worldwide. Just over 7 million deaths as of April 2024, when the world stopped counting. I'd like to talk to you about another silent killer, the cumulative effects of radiation exposure as it pertains to fluoroscopically treating patients in the operating room. So a typical patient prepared for a complex PCNL stone surgery receives the equivalent of 1,950 chest x-rays. Intraoperatively, treatment of one stone, 3,950, 3 stones, an astounding 11,850 chest x-rays. That's just one patient. Surgeons and their staff typically treat multiple patients in a week, still more in a month, and exponentially more in a career. I'd like to make a couple of points on this slide. One, that's an enormous amount of radiation. 2, we're in Dana Point, which is a beach destination. That's a lot to take in on a Tuesday morning, but anyway, thank you. But there is hope. We're here to solve the problem. We are Alara Med, which Alara stands for as low as reasonably achievable. We are rethinking radiation with patented products and techniques to reduce overall imaging radiation in surgery. Our mission is to save the lives of physicians, hospital staff, and patients. And we offer a unique value proposition in the sense that we're not focused on just the patients. We're focused on the staff and the physicians. And many prolific surgeons in urology have obtained cancer in the last few years, and it's kind of taken note in the industry. And so it's what we're focused on is saving the provider and the patients. So we're focused on creating a movement so everybody can understand the devastating cumulative effects of radiation. And our patented products, solutions, and education is the cornerstone of this movement. We are based out of Loma Linda University. It's a Seventh-day Adventist institution. It's the home of the first pediatric heart transplant. The recipient was named Faye. It's also the home of one of the very first proton beam accelerators, which is a revolutionary cancer treatment for targeted prostate treatment. It also happens to be one of the 5 blue zones in the world, and the only one in the United States. So this tiny community of about 30,000 has the largest concentration of centurions, people that live 100 years or more. So you can make an argument that Loma Linda is the epicenter for aspiring health in the United States. One interesting thing about the centurions is they tend to take a lot of naps. So that's one of the keys, in addition to eating right and whatnot. So that's kind of an interesting thing. This is our team. We have very strong players at every position, led by Dr. Baldwin. He's a prolific inventor, and he is a professor of urologic surgery at Loma Linda, and he is also head of their research affairs department. So we have an origin story to our company, and it started in 2009. In 2009, Cedars-Sinai was investigated for significant radiation exposure to 206 patients. Upon the conclusion of the investigation, it was determined this happened simply because the radiologic technician had the imaging device turned up too high. At the same time, Dr. Baldwin and his team performed a study on cadavers that was based upon the concept of Alara, which is as low as reasonably achievable. And it's focusing on the limited amount of imaging radiation needed to adequately prepare a patient for surgery. This made the cover of Journal of Urology, which is basically the Time magazine of urology, and it thrust him into the forefront as a thought leader in radiation safety. Fast forward to today. The movement is here. He made the cover the second time. The subject of this, radiation for two, what a pregnant surgeon faces in preparing and treating patients in the operating room. This article, the origin story to this is as a physician came up to him a couple years ago in a conference. It was a pregnant woman. She said, Dr. Baldwin, I've read all of your work, and I want to thank you. I'm trying to save myself and my baby from the cumulative effects of radiation. So, very significant story. So, one thing to note here, this is one of our first products, and there was a turning point when Dr. Baldwin did a lot of work and research on this, and then he came to this product. And it happened, he had an interventional radiologist which would help him gain access into his surgeries. The radiologist left the procedure that they were doing that particular day, couldn't remember how to get home. A couple months later, that interventional radiologist died of brain cancer. So Dr. Baldwin went on a mission at that point to protect himself, his staff, and other members of the worldwide urologic community. And he came out with this. It's a revolutionary device. It's a targeting device for complex PCNLs. It's called the Halo Pad Percutaneous Access Device. So what it does is it uses laser precision guidance, radio opaque rings to access the kidney stone burden, the proper plane of the kidney. Kidney is a very complex organ to access those stones. And so he's able to get his own access with just a few taps in a technique, which I'll talk about in a second. So we have a patented technique as well. The way it works is you place the patient in a prone position. You conduct ultrasound and renal mapping done per standard PCNL. The C-arm is set intentionally fixed at 1 pulse per second, and then single tap fluoroscopy is deployed per the usual surgery. So here's a depiction of it. So you start out in misalignment, and then as you guide it with the laser and the radio opaque rings, you get precise alignment. So you can also see in the imaging, you see a handle so that your hand is away from the focal point of the radiation. So, a lot of times you have throat protectors and you have radiology vests, but what about your hands? What about your head? So the thing is the only way you're going to be able to protect yourself is reducing the overall amount per surgery in your career of radiation you need to image the patient. That's our concept. So a little bit about the renal access modalities. So the y-axis, easy to complicated, x-axis, high cumulative radiation exposure to low cumulative radiation exposure. So upper left quadrant, you have conventional fluoroscopy, very high in radiation, relatively easy to use. Ultrasound, low in radiation, but extremely complicated to perform, especially in obese patients. And so in the United States, where that predominates sometimes, very difficult procedure to perform. In the upper right quadrant, you have the Alara Halo. That's our device, exceptionally easy to use with a very low radiation footprint with that tap fluoroscopy is the key to that. Okay, so a little bit about the global interventional radiology market. It's $25 billion was in 2023, expected to grow to $35 billion in 2030, with a CAGR of just over 5% from 2024 to 2029. Our addressable market is just below $1.8 billion. And our timeline. In Q3 of 2023, we licensed and have the rights to 22 patents across 7 patent families at Loma Linda University. We finished our prototyping in Q4 of 2024. We're here today looking for seed or angel investment, leading to beginning manufacturing and the FDA submission process, and a full FDA approval, following a limited market evaluation and a market launch. The ask. We're looking for seed or angel investors, $2 million or plus to begin manufacturing initialization and process to market launch. Thank you for your time and listen to my presentation. I appreciate it.